about the things you wanna hear. It's time to get real. Get real. We got it all right here. It's time to get real. Get real. Better buckle up, get real, get set. It's time to get real. Get real. We got it all right here. Come on. Whoa. Whoa. Come on.
Hi guys, I'm Louis Fidron. I'm the Festival Director and Program at the International Film Festival Manhattan, but tonight we are doing Get Real. On behalf of Janet Marco, I'm Louis Fidron, live in New York City. We will actually have a live interview with Kinao Tollefson, who is a motivational speaker, and he has taught a lot of people in the direct sales business, but we're gonna talk about his life story here in Get Real. But first up, we usually feature New York businesses here in New York City. We will be showing a video of the interview with Bayet and Sonny of Beauty Buffet in Woodside, the Filipino area in Queens, New York. Film Festival Manhattan, but we're here on Get Real with Janet Marco and Louis Pedron. Firstly, we want to interview actually a couple who are doing a business, doing well actually during the pandemic in the Little Manila Woodside area in Queens, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mayet and Sonny of Beauty Buffet. Kamusta kayo?
Hi, we're good.
Mayet and Sonny, can you describe to us what is Beauty Buffet? Ano ba siya? Food or aesthetics?
Many people get confused when they hear buffet, but this is for beauty.
Beauty.
It's like, no. We are offering a lot of things to make you beautiful. That's what it is.
What are the services? And I know, what are your services? And I know you do have a claim to fame. You're the famous person who does the maquinay, right? Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, so we have a lot of services. So we have the microblading. This is the advanced technique in microblading right now.
Microblading is for the eyebrows, right?
For the eyebrow, yes. So we do like bold brow, we call it bold brow technique, which is most advanced technique in microblading, which give you the very natural result. It's like a stroke, real hair stroke.
And it really looks natural, eh?
Yeah, very natural, and everybody can do it, men, women,
Any age.
any age.
And
Except
you
if
also
it
do
belongs.
the permanent lipstick?
Yes, I do lip blushing, we called it. So you just walk up with red, well-defined lips and well-defined brow.
And we do facials then.
Yeah, and also the liner. You know, the eyeliner. I do that too.
And
And
I
aside
heard
from
you also do the vitamins, vitamin drip.
Oh yeah. So we have doctors that does the procedure here. We have the IV drip. So we have different kinds of IV drips. We do the Myers cocktail. We do the higher dose of glutathione and vitamin C. We have the Inner Beauty, Cinderella drips, and many more.
So it's actually a place that you can have beauty and of course enjoy because you look so friendly. I'm sure everyone who goes there will enjoy their time like a spa-like experience at Beauty Buffet. So tell me, are you a couple? You're Mr. and Mrs., right?
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
We
You
are.
look so young. You actually use the products also, the services on you because you look like you're 20 years old, the two of you.
We
yeah.
have 22 years old son, 21. Yeah.
Different.
Our products.
No.
No, just being happy.
Yeah, being happy, like less stress, like
Right. So Sunny, is this true? Everybody talks about this. Happy wife, happy life.
that's true. Very true. Yeah.
That's nice. And, the two of you don't fight because usually husband and wife team in a business, that's usually people fighting. But you look like you two are always happy.
We fight at home. No, just kidding.
Yeah, we have misunderstanding also, but very common. But majority of our time we're happy. Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. How about during the pandemic? How did you guys experience the low of the business or the high of the business? And thank God you're open already. So tell me about your experience during the pandemic, opening up your business and still thriving.
Of course, we stopped during the peak of the COVID from March to July because they announced to open in July. So during the time I was working because we're both occupational therapists, so I was working full time in the nursing home while the Beauty Buffet is closed. Same with my husband.
Yeah. We still do everyday work in the nursing home. So that's what we did our life during the pandemic. Yeah, it's tough, but we have to deal with it.
And then you opened up again this summer, right? Summer in the US. In July, you opened up
Once
again.
they announced that we are okay, then we get all the requirements to open, and then thank God we are. As soon as they announced it, we opened last July 6th.
What are the protocols that you use there so the customers are safe during COVID time?
Of course, we have to
Check the temperature.
we do the checking of the temperature. We have the form. We have to ask the client, the history, if they travel, if they have the symptoms, and then we have medical grade or hospital grade sanitizer. We make sure we sanitize, disinfect right every after each client, and then.
And
We do all the Department of Health requirements, like mask is required, 6 feet distance is there.
by appointment only.
And even before pandemic, we are by appointment only. We don't accept walk-in. So
We're not crowded.
we're not crowded. It's just one at a time.
Oh, good. That's good to know. So people will feel safe when they come there, when they
Yes.
visit you. And per appointment only, of course.
Yeah, by appointment only. Even before pandemic, we are like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you said, you guys are occupational therapists, and you still are. You still work in that field. What is your experience with the customers that come in? Are they Filipinos? Because let me tell them, you actually are located near Johnny Air Cargo in PNB, right? The little
Yeah,
Manila
right across.
in New York in Woodside by the 7 train, right?
Yes.
So tell us about how convenient it is to go to your place and also do their shopping, do their padala sa Philippines and PNB and everything. Sell your business. Tell us about how convenient it is to go there.
Oh yeah. So, for example, when we have a client, they come with children. So when the children said, "Mommy, I'm so hungry," so they go to Jollibee, they go to Red Ribbon, and then if the husband said, "Oh, I need to send money to my parents," so they go to Johnny Air, they go to LBC, and my God, it's so many restaurants around the area. And then sometimes they have a daughter, "Oh, I wanna do my manicure, pedicure," and then everywhere they can do everything here while they're waiting for their loved ones.
And they don't really have to drive because the train station is right there, like 5 steps away from the train station. So
The 7 train, right? The 7 train is
Oh,
from
yeah.
the station.
5 steps. Oh my God, you're right there.
Yeah, 69th Street Station of 7th train.
69th Street of the 7
Yeah, in the very
train.
corner of 69 and Roosevelt Avenue.
Perfect. Yes. And then I know during the pandemic, there's a lot of Filipinos who cannot travel. And you said to me a while ago that a lot of the Filipinos there, nurses, doctors, or whoever, come to you guys instead of spending the money for traveling. They can treat themselves to services at the beauty buffet.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's what
right.
they do.
Yeah. So instead of, they save their money because they usually go to travel all over the world. Some people, they spend their money, when before pandemic, you can do a lot of things, right? So they think like the life stopped during the pandemic. So instead of going somewhere else, so they have money to make themselves beautiful and feel comfortable and confident. And also they feel like tired of being stressed, especially in the nursing home, in the hospital. So it's their way of feeling good, like go to beauty buffet just to make them feel relaxed and stress-free.
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna feel relaxed and stress-free because Mayet and Sunny will help you out at the Beauty Buffet in Woodside, Queens, New York. Actually, we have 1 more minute. Actually, with this interview, we will interview you more, maybe a longer one in the near future. So please tell us your specials during the Valentine's season in a few days.
Okay, so we have a couple of promotions during this Valentine's, starting in February 1 to 14. So we have this called Perfect Match. So you get buy one, get one free facial, which is a special. This is not a regular facial. This is very special. This is hydrodermabrasion with oxygen infusion. And we also have, that's for the couple. Another for the couple, this is like a carbon laser facial also. And then we have another one, which is the Heartbreak Trio. We have V-Pill, microneedling, and hydrodermabrasion with oxygen infusion. So 3 and 1. And many more. You have to visit us.
So they can go as a couple, the husband and the wife, or the boyfriend and the girlfriend can come to you and avail of the Valentine's special. So Beauty Buffet, Mayet and Sunny, please tell us your address, your phone number, and maybe your website.
Yes. So our address is at
We are located at 38-13, 69th Street, 2nd floor, in Woodside, New York. Very close to the 69th station of 7th train, just a few steps away. And our website is
www.beautybuffetnyc.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, beautybuffet_NYC.
And we have it's Facebook also. Yeah, they can follow us on
They can
Facebook.
call us also.
That's the phone
Number 347-204-7948.
So let's do support our Filipino brethren in Woodside, Queens. Beauty Buffet. Look for Mayet and Sunny. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much.
Relax, rejuvenate, beautiful each and every day. Beauty is that way. Beauty is here to stay. Come to Beauty Buffet. Come to Beauty Buffet.
Hi guys, welcome back. This is Luis Pedron. Thank you very much. Beauty Buffet, Mayat and Sunny. We're gonna be doing a live interview there very, very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have here live Kinao Tollefson, who is from Utah. He actually lives in Utah right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Kinao Tollefson! Yay! I'm wearing the Hawaii outfit for you, Mahalo. I guess we have to go direct to the point. We have to talk about your story. Soon we're gonna have a movie about you. I know it'll be the Kinao movie, Finding Ohana. Let's talk about your Hawaiian life.
Wow.
I know you were born and raised in Hawaii, right?
Yes, I am from the North Shore on the island of Oahu. So it's it's where our capital is, and it's the main island. It's where Honolulu is.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people get mistaken with Hawaii being Waikiki or Honolulu, where they see the big hotels and skyscrapers and all the tourists. But if you drive about 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes to the North Shore side, you'll see a place in a town called Laie.
Uh-huh.
And Laie is, in God's language, is translated to God's country.
Talking about God's country, we have Tom Palooza from Honolulu, Hawaii. And we have people greeting you here. We have, of course, John Iroso from New York City, says Iroso. And so many. We're going to talk. Oh, somebody from Toronto too, Maria Jardinel.
Hey.
Sorry about that. Oh, can you pronounce your name, Kinao Tollefson? And Kinao is Hawaiian, and Tollefson sounds more Swedish.
Yes, it's actually Kina'u.
Kina'u.
So phonetically, if you pronounce it, it's like a key, like a key to a door, to unlock the door. And then
Key.
Na, like
Na.
N-A-H, like Na. And then the last part is U.
Ooh.
Yes, so Kina'u.
Kinao.
But being in the mainland, a lot of white people. No, just kidding. I love white people. But a lot of the white people can't say it. They're always like Kaneu, Kanuha, Kahuna, Kaneu. So I took off the AU just to make it easier for people. So it's pronounced Kinao here in the mainland.
Kinao.
But Kina'u means a whole different definition when you go to Hawaii. The definition of my name actually means handsome but humble. Just kidding.
I believe you.
It's actually a place on one of the islands. It's a river. And it was given to me by my grandmother, my tutu Wahine in Molokai, which is one of the islands where my father is from. And we're talking about the Norwegian side of my bloodline.
Oh, Norwegian, sorry.
My father's father was a Viking sailor who was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, 6'7" tall, who was a sailor that actually brought the people who suffered from leprosy back in the day. And there was an island called Molokai where Father Damien of the Catholic Church opened up a flat land peninsula there in Molokai, where that island was where all of the people who suffered from leprosy. So my great grandfather was a sailor who brought them there, ended up loving the islands and stayed there. and fell in love with a pure Hawaiian woman who had 9 children. And my father was one of them. So my father is actually Norwegian. He's what we call in the islands Hapa Hauli. Hauli means Caucasian. Hapa means half. So Hapa Hauli, meaning his half was Hawaiian, the other half was Norwegian. And then my mother was a full-blooded Samoan. So when people ask, like, what is your, sometimes I get, are you Spanish? Are you Hispanic? Are you,
Filipino.
American? Yeah, are you Filipino? I said, no, I'm actually Hawaiian, Samoan, Norwegian.
So how was your life growing up in Hawaii? Did you have Filipinos as best friends, since there's a lot of Filipinos in Hawaii as well?
You know what's funny is our cultures are so similar, and our cultures share a lot of, we share a lot of our cultures together. Like, if I was to get married again for the 3rd time, I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. But let's just say I was to get married a 3rd time. At my reception for my luau, my party, for my wedding, you would have the typical white rice. Then the next would be your meats, which would be kalua pig or lechon.
Lechon?
Yeah, and then you would have like lomi salmon, which is raw salmon and tomatoes. And then you would have lumpia, and then you would have pancit. Because the cultures really fused all of the foods together. In fact, it's considered to be local food, which we all love. That's why I love the Filipinos, all the Airosos and the Duncas and all the people who feed me every time I go to New York City. Because it's like I'm eating at home. I'm always treated like royalty. The red carpet, the Filipino culture is loving. It is opening. It's just like the Hawaiian people. They always say, oh, aloha, come, sit down, eat. Even if you're full, eat again, who cares? Eat till you drop.
Tampaloosa is saying Italians too. And then somebody said, oh, Ate Ses is saying you have a twin brother who's Filipino, I hear.
That is Mr. Airoso. Funny, we were having lunch at the bottom of the at the Rockefeller Plaza in New York City, and John wasn't saying anything, and he didn't open up to us that much until I asked him, so when's your birthday? And he said December 12th. I'm like, me too. And then he said, what year? And then he told me the year, which I'm not going to say, but it was
You're
the same
30, because you're just 35 years old, right?
35, yeah. Me and Iroso. So I told him, I said, when we were about to be born, God said, well, I'm going to send you, Iroso, to the Philippines. I'm going to send Kinao to Hawaii, but you're going to meet up one day in the Rockefeller Plaza, and you guys are going to be brothers.
I love it. Yay. So we have something similar too. Our entertainment background. Because you were in the entertainment field as well throughout your life in Hawaii.
Well, Luis, first of all, I have to thank you for allowing me to be part of the show. And mabuhay to all the Filipinos out in the Philippines and in Las Vegas, because I'm noticing the call sign is PHLV, which stands for Philippines Las Vegas. And what an honor to be with you, because before I even tell you my background, I remember, guys, for all you listeners out there, Luis Pedron was introduced to me through an off-Broadway show that we went to one night with the Irosos. He said, hey, Luis is in this, and you are a diamond executive, which is one of the big high pin levels in our company. So I was like, really? He's a Broadway actor? And I remember going into the building and seeing your 8x10 headshot on the wall with all these other stars. And I was just so proud. I was like, woohoo, Filipinos represent. And we sat through the show, and I couldn't help but every time you were on stage, you kind of stole the show. Like, seriously. Like, you upstaged all of the other characters, and I'm like, I feel bad for them, because your character was so funny and it was so hilarious. And so, yes, I appreciate you, coming from having your background in entertainment. In Hawaii, the main industry is tourism.
Right.
So if you're not an entertainer singing or dancing in a luau show to entertain the tourists, because there's a lot of these luau shows, Polynesian luau shows, then you're a tour guide. or you work in the hotel and restaurant industry. So I did all three of them. My mother was a professional singer, and she was a headliner at one of the big hotels. And one day, a producer from Hollywood was on vacation and heard her sing at the dinner lounge. And offered her, afterwards went, approached her and said, hey, we would like to offer you a position and a spot on the Merv Griffin show.
Oh, wow.
Merv Griffin, that was the Johnny Carson era back in the the late shows.
Right.
So I was 4 years old when that happened. As a result, for them, going off to Hollywood to pursue my mom's dream, I was dropped off at my grandparents' house too, and they raised me. Now, this is the Samoan side. Now, if you know anything about the Samoan culture, like The Rock. By the way, he's my cousin. he's everybody's cousin who's from Samoa.
Oh.
But if you know anything about the culture, it's respect is a huge part of the culture, and a child abuse is kind of accepted. Like it's you either do it, or
you mean spanking?
Yes, exactly. Spanking is allowed, and you cannot call if you're getting beat down. Nowadays you can't call 911 for the police to protect you, because most likely if the police comes to the house, it's normally your uncle, and who will beat you down even more for being disrespectful. So, respect was such a huge part of our culture. So my grandfather growing up said, you are the youngest of all the 5 children. You are the last hope to make it big for us to go to school and get good grades and study hard, and a good college degree will get you a good job, and a good job will get you a nice stable income and enough money for you to turn around and take care of me and mama one day. And I was 4 years old, Luis, and that was a lot of pressure on me. So I took his advice. I ended up going to a 4-year college for 7.5 years.
Did you say 4 years, 7? Oh, okay.
Okay. Here's why. I gotta explain why. It's not that I was stupid or dumb or anything, but I found that the education system, and I'm not knocking it, I just found that it was really confusing to me how graduates and classmates of mine were graduating with certain degrees in certain fields and areas, like, for example, accounting. And then they landed a job driving a tour bus in Hawaii. And I was like, holy crap, I'm a accounting major. I don't want to end up like that, so I better change my major. And I was changing my major almost every semester. And with more majors, you have to put on more requirements for general educations. And it took me so long to get out of that deal. But once I did, I couldn't find a job in my field, which was television commercial advertising.
Right.
And Luis, let me ask the listeners, I don't know, maybe they can respond, but does anybody know anyone that went to school year after year after year and landed a job that had absolutely nothing to do with what they went to school to study for? I know a lot of those people.
Most of us here in America.
And so I was in that same position. So what happened was, I went to my grandfather and I'm like, what do I do now? I can't find a job in my field. Meanwhile, I worked at every other hotel in Waikiki, either as a waiter or a valet. I might have parked some of your cars, or food service or room service. Hi, room service, in all those hotels. And I was also a bouncer at a Korean bar.
Oh.
Yeah, if you can picture the Hollywood scene of a really Asian, buy me drinky kind of bar, that was me at the front checking IDs. And I was also a performer at 2 of the luau shows there. I was an MC and an entertainer and a musician. So because my mom, she was a professional hula dancer and singer as well. So all of us worked in the shows. So that put me through college. But when I got out in that area of television commercial advertising, I couldn't find anything. So my grandfather suggested I serve a mission for my church for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Now this is where the story starts, where it's all volunteer. If you know anything about the LDS church, I put my papers in. They come back with an assignment for me to teach 2 years. And I was called from Hawaii to serve in Fresno, California. But my assignment was to teach the Hmong people were from Laos. So it was a Southeast Asian group of Hmong people. And it's spelled Hmong. I had no clue who they were. I had no background on what they were. But for 2 years, I became fluent in reading and writing their language and teaching them all about our church. Yeah, and it was an experience that I've never regretted. It was a beautiful experience. I love those people, even still today. So I'm fluent in that language as well as a little bit of Samoan and a little bit of Hawaiian, and I only know the bad words in Tagalog. So sorry, I'm just kidding. I know more than bad words in Tagalog. But when I returned home after being away for 2 years, thus begins my story and my movie with the profession of direct sales.
Right. So so tell me, so after the missions, you actually had to be invited, I guess. Wow. Who invited you, and how did that happen? You know, maybe you attended like a invitation party or party presentation. How did that come about?
You know, that's a good question. It's actually, my anniversary is this month, February.
In the business, really?
Yeah. 26 years ago. So I got...
You're just 35.
Yes, and we'll talk about that later. And I'll have to sign a disclaimer later about my age, but I just look 35. I'm actually a little bit older than that. But Luis, when I got home, being away for 2 years, all the family was so excited. They're like, oh my gosh, we haven't seen you in 2 years. But my older brother, he didn't ask me anything about what happened on my mission. All he said was, look, here's the address to a warehouse in Honolulu. I want you to dress sharp, show up on time. When you get there, ask for this person, and it's this Saturday. So I'm like, okay, all right, good to see you too, So I went down there thinking I was going in for this interview for a job. I thought I was going to meet with the boss of a company, and he was going to hire me for some. I had no clue. I was just so clueless. Well, I went to this address, and I walked into this warehouse. And in the warehouse was an area where there was over 200 chairs, folding out chairs. And I thought, well, gosh, why are all these people here? Did they find out I was coming and they wanted to meet me or something? I have no idea. I was so clueless walking into this address. And then I saw a water filter in front of the room. And my first reaction, Luis, I don't know if you can picture my face, but I literally just dropped going, oh my gosh, not one of these things. Oh no, and that was my first introduction to the profession, but I had been exposed to the profession since I was a child, because in Hawaii, I'm sure it's like the Philippines, but a lot of the companies that are involved in the profession of direct sales, they come and they hit up everybody that they can to make an extra, $25 or $100 because it's so expensive in Hawaii. So, as a kid, I remember all of the church ladies and all of the aunties and all of the uncles and the church people would all come over and they would say, all the kids would go into the other room and, they would be talking about this plastic Tupperware that you can run over with a car and it doesn't break. And then we would go to another party another month, and it says, we can sell all the lipstick and we can win a pink car. And it sounds like Mary Kay. And then we go to another meeting, and it said, bring all your gold jewelry and we can, and then go to another meeting, and I'm playing with the kids again, and they're saying, you can win a trip to Disneyland for all the kids. And I remember going to school and telling all my friends, my mom got this new job. We're gonna be rich. We're gonna go to Disneyland. And we're gonna win a pink car. And none of those things happened. So my first reaction when I saw the water filtration system in this room of over 200 people, I was like, oh my gosh, one of those things that my mom failed miserably and made me embarrassed because we never got the car, we never got the Disneyland trip. But we had a closet full of products. And that was my, experience thus far. But what intrigued me after the presentation was the fact that there was a woman there. As soon as the presentation was over, I headed for the door. I did a beeline. I was intrigued by the energy and the people in the room. They were a bit weird, not for my taste, but I went to the door and I found out later that my brother said, told this woman, "Hey, he's leaving. Stop him. Go get him at the door." So she stopped me at the door. She said, "Hey, where are you going?" And I said, "Oh, this isn't for me." And she goes, "Why not?" I said, "Well, I don't do Amway companies." And she goes, "What do you know about Amway?" I'm like, "Nothing." So she said, "Sit down." And what I was in debt, what I accumulated as far as debt with school loans and just the average debt of Hawaii, being so expensive, roughly about $46,000.
So you just graduated then? So you were just in your 20s?
Yeah.
Like super young?
Yes.
Okay. So did you ever have a job during? Oh no, you had those part-time jobs, right?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
But now, anyway, so what happened? Big Brother was watching you, said, don't go.
Yeah.
He was watching you on CCTV.
Yeah. So this woman who, sat me down and I started, grilling her for all these questions. I found out that she was making about $50,000 a month US selling these water filters. And
What?
She was their
50,000 US?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how my face looked too.
What?
And I heard, and I said, that's either full of crap. I don't know. Sorry if I can say that on PHLV, but I'm like, this is either full of
Give me beats later.
Okay.
Give me beats.
Or we can, or this is true. And I started asking her all these questions, and I literally ripped her to pieces as far as like, my mom tried one of these, and so-and-so tried one of these, and the neighbors tried it, and the so-and-so tried it, and the hairdresser's dog tried it, and then nothing worked. And they might have made a few, coins here and there, but, I've never met anybody that was making some gangster mafia money like you are. And so she said, well, let's do this. Why don't you just try it and see what happens? See what happens, because if it doesn't work, you can always go back to those jobs you keep complaining about that I was about to get back into. And so, long story short, 26 years ago this month, I took her advice and decided, what the heck, what have I got to lose? Because she goes, hey, to be involved as a distributor to sell these water filters, it's $50. It's $49 for your application fee. I'm like, I don't even have that, lady. I don't have $49. And she looks at me and she goes, oh my gosh, you don't have $49? And I was like, no. And I was so proud of it. I was like telling everybody, I'm broke. I don't even got $50 to start your water filter business. And she looks at me and she goes, how long has it been where you don't have $50? And I was getting upset. And she goes, oh my gosh, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to have the same result. And everything she said, because she was a seasoned, skilled marketer, it got me to stop and think. And then she turned me onto a book entitled just that, Think and Grow Rich. This was my Bible. Not that I take the Bible, as far as this goes, but as far as my sacred books.
Think and Grow Rich, yes.
Think and Grow Rich.
Napoleon Hill.
And I read, she said, you need to read this book. And once I did, I was like, what the heck, what have I got to lose? By my 6th month in the business, I started making half of what she was making. By my 4th year in the business, we don't quote incomes. It's unfair to entice people with the money. But for me, it was the money that got me in 26 years ago. Because I told her, I said, look, if I don't see any type of income, the last thing you're going to see is the back of my head. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing it ever since. And, being here in Utah, because I'm coming to you live from my Salt Lake City office here in Utah, there's a lot of companies here. And the common reaction I get, kind of like in New York City too, is, oh my gosh, is this one of those things, Louise? Because I've done, about 18 of them, And I'm like, oh, I feel so sorry for you, which means 17 of them failed. For me, 26 years, I've only belonged to 2 companies prior to Yoli.
By the way, can I ask you, like, the other company, which is you are on right now,
Yes.
it took months and months or years and years for the person to actually re-invite you. So can you tell us about that lesson, persistence? Tell us about that story, and I'm so excited to hear about that.
Well, when that water filter company ended, it was kind of a boring story. Wait till my movie comes out. You'll see all the details in there. The second company...
Actually, we're producing it.
Nice.
Can
Sounds
I
good.
play you? No,
Yes,
you're going to
yes.
play yourself. No, you're going to play yourself. That'll be better.
We'll need a George Clooney or a Brad Pitt to play the older me.
Exactly. If Dr. Fauci got Brad Pitt to play him,
Hey.
I'm sure he'd say the same thing.
Exactly.
Right. Brad Pitt.
So what happened was that mentor of mine, about 2 years to the date, I ran into her again, and she told me about a company that she was just asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement about because it wasn't launched yet. It was pre-launch. And it was a juice that came in a glass bottle that looked like the Coke bottle. And it was a juice that was dark purple, and she said it was from the mangosteen fruit that grows all in Southeast Asia and the Philippines. It's called the Queen of the Fruits. It had never in the history of mankind been marketed before. And they were the first ones to grab the technology to take the peel or the skin or the rind or the pericarp of this fruit, the Queen of Fruits called mangosteen, and put it into a juice form, for health benefits like inflammation, so on and so forth. And I got involved. I got involved with her again. The company did $1 billion in the first 5 years, broke every record in the industry. And it started what we called the juice wars. Because then you had the goji berry juice and the kayani berry and the jumanji berry. And I'm just kidding.
That's a movie.
I'm just kidding. It's not
Made a
jumanji.
movie about it.
But it started all these juice wars, and that's where I met 5 individuals, very successful. They were all the top level, pin levels in the company. And some of these people that are on here know exactly who I'm talking about. One of them, his name was Bobby Jones, a gentleman.
The Voltus 5 already wasn't in existence that time?
Yes, it was. Yes,
They were already. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. They were already together.
Yep. So in this company, I met Corey Citron, the amazing Corey Citron, who's a legend. Darren Falter, another legend. Robbie Fender, legendary status. His beautiful wife, Kimberly Fender. Bobby Jones. And they, right around 2009, at the tail end of Zango's run, they split off to start Yoli. Now, there was one individual, a good friend of mine, but his name, and it's important that I mention it here, his name is Eugene Hong.
Yes.
Yes, Eugene Hong, who said, yes, I will go with you guys to build your Yoli company. And he was the first, and he had a vision, and he had a dream, and he executed that vision and the dream. And today he is at the top of our company. He is a triple blue diamond. And he left, but I didn't. So, Luis, what happened was, the story goes that for 3 years he called me. I was still involved in the Zango Juice Company. Right around 2009, I was also diagnosed with a severe case of gout. Which
a lot of Filipinos are suffering with gout right now because of eating too much.
You know what it was for me? I remember waking up one day going, how did I stub my toe? It feels like it's broken. I don't remember hitting it or anything. And I literally almost crawled to the podiatrist doctor. And when he took one look at it, he said, that's gout. And I was like, there is no way this is gout. Because
what were you eating too much, though? Is that beans?
For a while, if you look at the standard diet of the Hawaiian people, similar to Filipinos, we eat a lot of rice, a lot of pork, a lot of spam. A lot of spam. We're the highest consumers of spam per capita throughout the U.S. We love spam. Yes. You can get spam at McDonald's and Burger King. And they offer it with rice and eggs.
In Hawaii?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And so, just the accumulation of years of eating that way with a poor diet, it finally caught up to me. So when that happened, I was in total denial. I was like, there is no way this is gout, because gout is for the Filipino people.
Yeah, only for Filipino.
I'm just kidding, Filipino people. But I was like, gout is for my uncles, my grandpas. There's no way. I'm too young for this. And
right.
he took a blood culture, came back. My uric acid level was registering at 7 point. It was actually 12.5, where the normal levels are between 5 and 7. So he said, not only do you have gout, but you have the extra special gout called pseudo gout. It's 1 in every 2 million people, whatever. And get on this prescription. And I did not feel good when I took that prescription drug. So for 2 years, I never left the house, but I kept eating Spam, eggs, and rice. When Eugene, who called me for 3 years, when I finally made the connection with him for Yoli, I was tipping the scale at 425 pounds. Prior to that, I was 479 pounds.
Wow.
My blood pressure, just 60 days prior to that, to answering Eugene's call, was it was dangerously high. It was at stroke level almost, because I was 479 pounds.
So you weren't moving, you were a couch potato then?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, if you can't walk and you can't exercise, I mean, you could probably, but I at that point, my health was so bad. It was just terrible. My eating habits were terrible. I was going through something, somewhat of a depression. My company was going down. The economy was really bad. The stock market, housing market, everything crashed. Our company took a big hit as well. And I was waiting for the next move, like what was I going to do? Meanwhile, Eugene Hong's calling me every week for 3 years. Sometimes 3 times a week for 3 years.
Wow.
Every week for 3 years.
And that was the time there was answering machine.
Oh, well, not my cell phone.
Oh, you might be on your cell phone.
Yeah, and I would look at it after the first year going, man, this guy doesn't give up. And I would look at it again year 2 going, man, this guy he has no clue. Now I know what to get him for Christmas, a clue, because he has no clue. Year 3, oh my gosh, the guy keeps calling. This is the lesson of what we teach people, that it's being persistently consistent. Because, Luis, what we do as far as building a huge network here, most people, the average person, would give up after about 3 days, not 3 years.
Yeah, actually.
You know what I mean? 3 weeks,
yeah.
3 years, 3 years is just unheard of. So today, I because I said yes to Yoli when he finally made that connection with me, for the last 10 years, I'm what you call a triple diamond. There's about maybe 14 of us in the whole company. And people ask, well, wow, what do you attribute your success to? And I'm like, well, basically, I just talked to triple the amount of the normal person. And we have triple the amount of sick people in a way. So we offer them a solution. And, my mentor said, if you can find a solution to a big problem, you're going to receive a big paycheck. Now, our products, our flagship product is a kit, a box. It's called the Green Box of Hope, and it is our biggest flagship product that is transforming people's lives in the Philippines, in Canada, and in the U.S., soon to be open in Mexico, too. So we're a small company about to be big. I look at it that way, and I'm so excited about it.
I'm excited that the Hawaiians and the Filipinos are all bonded together to give the Green Box of Hope. But what I was going to ask you was this. All these things happening, did you think of your family that you have to share? Like who were your initial group? And then let's finish the 3 years of him. Why did you ever say yes? Because 3 years was, you probably gave up on each other already. What was the reason why you said yes?
That's a good question, bro. That's a good question, Luis. So
why? What's your why? Or I don't know. What
happened was I was praying for something, and I was asking God, what's my next move? I had been in the industry for, up until that point, close to about 18 years. 16 years, and I thought, maybe it's time to open up my own company. I didn't have any direction, and I was waiting for something. And I look back now, and meanwhile, while I was praying for something to fall into my lap, Eugene kept calling, but I was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to build another company. I don't want to, I was just kind of burnt out. And, it wasn't until the definitive phone call is what I call it. Now, this is the turning point in my life where God said, Punk, shut up, pay attention. So what Eugene did was he left me a very, very, very definitive, nasty message. He was so upset with me. He was really mad, and he said, I can't believe you're not calling me. I've been calling you for all these years, and I don't even know if you're dead or alive. And there was about 25 to 26 F-bombs in which we can't say on the air here.
He cursed? I can imagine
cursed.
Eugene cursing.
You know what? It did the trick, Luis. It got me so upset where I called him right back after not talking to him for all those years. And as soon as he answered, he was like, hey, kid, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from you in all these years. How are you alive? How is your brother and your sister? And oh my gosh. And, he had no clue. But, and I stayed mad for all about 30 seconds because you can't have any type of anger feelings towards this guy. He's one of the most incredible human beings.
He's the sweetest guy ever. Yeah.
Just a leader and a nice guy and a best friend and a brother. And, he was just worried, and I remember telling him, I said, I'm good. I'm fine. And nobody knew of my, my weight gain or my gout because I kept posting skinny pictures on Facebook. And so, we caught up, and he was very persistent, but he was very polite about it, because some people can be really rude and crass, like, come on, do this with me. And, he knew that I was a trainer, and he knew that I had all this experience, and so he was asking me politely and persistently to help train his organization and his team. And eventually what happened was I started referring. Once my gout started to get handled because of their product called Alkali, you said, who do you talk to? Well, if you know anybody that walks funny in Hawaii, that's the gout walk. You tell them, hey, come here, I got something for you. Yeah. And we were able to move a lot of products. I hit their diamond position within, they told me it was a record of how quickly, and it was because we had so many people that were inquiring about the product. Not so much the business, but we were, with a product that helps people with gout. I mean, it's one of the most painful, debilitating diseases. If you can get relief from that's with a product that's natural and doesn't have any of those harmful side effects like the pharmaceutical drugs were.
Right.
It's simple, and it's kind of a no-brainer to say, hey, instead of this, buy this. You don't even know the pharmacy guy. You know me. Let's buy from me. Let's make some profits together. And as a result, people in Hawaii really latched on to the product and to the business. And as a result, like I said, I'm sitting on a huge 10 years today. Here's the beauty of this. The book, Think and Grow Rich, Luis, it says that it's better to get 1% off of 1,000 people as opposed to going to work every day using 1,000% of your own efforts. Now, how this is made true with this profession, and what locked me into the profession, was the principle of leverage sales. Now, when I heard that you can actually make money but stop working, let me repeat that for all the listeners. I could make money but stop working, because that's what that mentor told me. I was like, there's no way. That's not what my grandpa said. And she goes, well, what does your grandpa do? I'm like, he's broke, which is why I was broke. She goes, stop listening to broke people. Stop listening to other people's opinions. Listen to somebody who's proven, the success, and copy exactly what they did. So as a result, this is my 26 year in the profession. This is my third company. I'm going on almost 9 years with Yoli. I'm still getting paid, Louise, off of all the customers that started with me 9 years ago.
Wow.
So even during this COVID time where I wasn't able to get out and, you know, I haven't taken a trip for a whole year, my income has actually gone up.
Wow.
Because of that. And it's been, you know, one of the best home-based business opportunities because we work from home.
You know you're going to kill me. There's only 5 more minutes.
Yes.
And I know this is an opportunity.
Yes.
I was telling you before this that finally I'm going to have Kinao one-on-one. So maybe we should have a part 2 of this interview. But right now, let's use up that 5 minutes.
Yes.
If I were one of your mentees and you're my mentor, please tell me, what do I do during this pandemic? Both in marketing, whatever I do, my film festival, this and that, the business. What should I do, mentor?
Well, if you're coming in as a mentee and you're wanting to do the business part, there's several steps and it's really simple.
Yes, sir.
If you're wanting to just become a customer, a satisfied customer, because the main part about opening up the business is to acquire and keep customers. Those auto ship customers, that repeated purchases that sustain us through the COVID times is what we want. But if you're looking for get started by filling out your application, and you can go to yoli.com for all that information, so forth, so on. But that's what I would agree to do.
And then now supplements and being healthy now is not a luxury anymore. This is survival of the fittest. This pandemic. We need to tell them the health, like the urgency, and then now it's become an online business too.
Yes. Yes. And there's an app that takes care of all the online building, sending out samples. It has literally revolutionized. Yes. If people want a sample, all it takes is a text message with 2 clicks that says, yes, I would like to sample. You know, we just launched a new coffee line called Awaken. That's actually a slimming coffee that's from a Colombian bean that's naturally with no, it's all organic. And it helps with, it has no acid. So a lot of coffee drinkers who, because of the acid buildup, this has alkali in it. It's an alkaline coffee. It's one of our best sellers. We just launched a collagen line for hair, skin, and nail growth, joint support, a Yoli Fit line for bodybuilding, body sculpting. I mean, that's brand new. So if you're interested in, like I said, becoming a satisfied customer, send out the samples. But if you're wanting to build some residual passive income, meaning money coming in whether you work or not, get with the person that invited you to this so that you can take the necessary steps to start building a massive network of satisfied customers.
Okay, now let's do shout-outs. Sela Vayenuku.
Oh, my girl.
Himuli. Let's do shout-outs. Cesar Rosso. And, of course, Tom Peluso, Rosas and the Dunkas. And I don't know if Eugene Hong is here right now, but thank you. But the reason why I wanted to have this moment with you, I only got 1 more minute.
Yes.
Is that I have been looking for something also to do during the pandemic. I know I'm doing the film festival, which has become online. I'm doing the show. Thank you, PHLV. Thank you, Director Johan, for giving me the opportunity, and Jeanette Marco, and everyone who brought me to PHLV, which is Tita Josie, Harrison, Tita Miles, Elton Lugay. I wanted to ask you, am I doing the right thing, sir? Doing this business again, doing the direct sales business, am I really on the right track? We only got 1 minute.
Absolutely, yes.
Please tell me I'm doing the right thing.
Absolutely, yes. 110,000% yes.
You mean yes?
Yes. Yes, shake, and yes. Yoli Central shake, and yes, all of the above. You are absolutely doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, tell your website. I know you have a yoli.com/
Kinau, Kinau.
yoli.com/backslash Kinau, KINAU,
Yes.
and yoli.com/Luis Pedron 2020, El Pedron 2020, El Pedron 2020. Kinau, thank you very much for this beautiful opportunity. We're going to have a part 2. Soon we're going to show you the trailer of your movie. But everyone who was part of the comments, you have 65 comments and 1 million shares. You are famous, my friend. I want to see you again live on stage. But I know you're going to be soon a New Yorker, because
Yes.
I know that's one of your dreams, to be part of us here in New York City. I want you to do your motivational speech again on stage and the movie and everything. And please be my mentor. Please tell me what to do. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Let's thank Tati Ses and Kuya John for bringing me back again. And of course, John and Jen Dunca. Thank you very much, Eugene Hong and Ronnie Cruz. Thank you very much. But thank you, Voltus 5, the founders of Yoli. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the motivational speaker, the handsome, the motivating, the inspiring Kinau Tollefson from Utah. Thank you very
Maraming
much.
salamat po. Thank you so
Maraming
much.
salamat po. Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you. Part 2 of Kinau coming soon. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you.
It's time to get real. Get real. Talking about the things you wanna hear. It's time to get real. Get real. We got it all right here. It's time to get real. Get real. Better buckle up, get real, get set. It's time to get real. Get real. We got it all right here. Come on. Whoa. Whoa.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.